Oh, it's fantastic. Wait, I need to go get something big for the story time today. All right, I'm back. Here's the deal. Here's the kick. For the past
Oh, oh.
3 weeks, for the past 3 weeks, I discovered coffee. Delicious instant coffee. I need to say that there's a way to prepare instant coffee. Water should not be at 100 degrees Celsius or Z, should be somewhere between 70. That gives you the best possible coffee. Also, first mix it with cold, room temperature water, right? And just a little bit, just a little bit. Pour your sugar, pour your instant coffee, and then pour slowly your 70 C degrees water, right?
Over the
That
top,
makes the best
yeah.
instant. Perfect. This is the coffee. Pretty good, fantastic, great taste for instant coffee. Easy to create, easy to make, right? Fantastic. Do not mix this with orange juice. That tastes horrible, right? But the thinking, I started kind of like, man, after the classes, I was like so sleepy, no energy. I was, man, all right, let's increase size of coffee, right? So I went for a bigger, a twice cup size. Then I increased concentration. Then start getting a little sour. So what the hell? Until one time I just went like this and I said, oh yeah, this is 100%. This says coffee. Oh, come on. Can you say, well, I'm going to read to you. Coffee 100% pure, soluble, or I don't know, soluble, right? And then it says decaffeinated, man. Decaf. Dude, I know, man. That makes so much sense. So I've been like 3 weeks without coffee or without caffeine.
And you're so tired.
No.
You're
Today,
decaf, man.
today. Oh
Uh-oh,
yeah.
Now he's got the superpowers. Watch out.
Ooh, man. You know what it feels to cut out coffee for 2 weeks and then to drink a very potent
Oh, man.
coffee mug?
You must feel like Superman.
Dude, I feel fantastic. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Am I recording this? I shouldn't. Oh, yeah, but I am. Whatever. So, we're not here to talk coffee. By the way, thank you so much, Alex, for giving me that 10 minutes, 5 minutes before the show. He was on time. Hey, I'm ready. And I was like, no, wait a second. I need to get my coffee, right? This is going to be my second
worries.
cup of coffee. But we're here to talk crypto. And oh boy, we had a little bit of retracement. We knew it was coming. Are you long? Are you short? How was your morning, my friend? Let me know.
I took a loss and a win, so I'm pretty much break even right now. So it's really choppy, man. It's really, really choppy. It's not something that's fun to trade right now. We've been stuck between 94.6 and 94.200 for the last, or 93.6 and 94.200 for the last hour. So, yeah, it's been very, 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 very. Did I say very choppy?
Oh, absolutely. Let me get started here because I haven't traded. I did not trade throughout the weekend. Oh man, that was a shame. That was a shame. But I did make some. Yeah, I mean, dude, I cleaned up your storage room. Oh my goodness. Infinite amount of trash, right? So, well, shit. All right, so that was what I did throughout the weekend. But a couple of things have been playing out, and I want to bring you this little news. This is exciting for me. What are your thoughts about Litecoin? Shitcoin, meh, coin, legacy coin,
Meh.
meh. All right,
Meh.
so yeah, I know.
Sort of.
Yeah, I like it. This was my first mining coin. This is where I started mining. And then I got hacked. Well, not myself. My pool got hacked and most of my gainings, they disappeared. But here's the kick. The U.S. Securities of Exchange Commission is expected to issue a decision soon on the proposed Litecoin exchange trade fund filed, by Kearney Capital. So we want to see this SEC seeing a posture or just a decision, basically Like I think it's gonna get denied. All right, but remember, buy the news, sell. Sorry, buy the rumor, sell the news. Right. So I think it could be interesting to see how Litecoin it's playing out so far. Right. Litecoin does has a little special place in my heart. I'm not gonna lie. Still, I do also believe that. Meh coin, it has its potential because this is layer one. At the end of it all, this is a fork of Bitcoin, right? So depending on where we can take this ETF, right? This could be, or Litecoin could have a rebirth, especially if we see new developers taking on the project and starting to plan upon plan, right? And adding layers upon layers on Litecoin. I think it has a lot of potential on exploit potential. So far, this is what we got in here. We're looking at a 15 minutes possible entry right there. It stopped us out. That's fine. And then, of course, went back to where we started. But at this point, I think if we're seeing the 4 hours, we could be seeing a little bit of a inverted head and shoulders, right? Something important, it is that our neckline will be a little bit slightly above of my alert. My alert right now, it is at 90.89, and that is for a possible retracement. As you can see, it retraced out of that zone. I was expecting to re-enter in a little bit of a plate. Let me just make sure that I show you what happened here. We have some volatility candles here, slightly on profits, and then stop me out because I did not move my stop to entry. That's fine. And then once again, right now we're creating a lower high. We have a higher low, so we are right now making a triangle. Let me clear this up so we can see a little bit better of what I'm saying here. And let me just get rid of this because it's already passed. All right, it's already gone. So at this point, this is what I think we are creating. All right, possible triangle here. And that will actually make sense on the 4 hour because we could be creating a pennant, a very weird pennant so far. But as long as we don't lose the dynamic reactor, and this is gonna be 100% dependent on Bitcoin, I could say that this could be the verge point. One of two things. We either create a pattern here and continue breaking the previous resistance to go hit the next one, which is not that far away. Here, here and here. All right, so this would be our possible reentry zone here or here between 84 or 81.80. All right, and that's why I'm going to be creating an alert. In fact, my alert is not going to be right now because we are almost at that price, so I'm going to be pushing it down to 81.63 and keep an eye on it. All right, and or we are too late to the news, right? So we do not buy we didn't bought the bottom, and right now we are on the sell of the news. And how we could be profiting out of this by looking for a lower high. We already have a lower high. We need to put down a lower low. We're gonna be having, when we have that, we're gonna be having bearish structure, right? And look at that. Not only we are looking at that, our market dynamics, it is already giving us a rising wedge with a support zone. Especially look at that, how well or how beautiful it's that line. So I'm gonna fix mine to match with the actual mathematical accurate calculation, right? So if we lose this trend line, most likely we're gonna be putting a lower low to match the previous one. We already have a lower high. So what's up here? We're gonna be below dynamic reactors. Not about your breakout, it's about your retest, your entry for the short, and then off we go. There's a caveat here, and I think we could be looking this at daily. And let me say that I picked up this from the amazing trade that I have right here to my left or right, depending on, what is it? Left, right? I don't know. Alexa Crypto, all right? And I usually measured this from other perspective, but I found that his way of measuring this, he doesn't explain it this way. This is just my take on what he teaches, right? It is usually on a bull trend, we could have a sort of a fake out, right? Usually putting a higher, still higher low, all right? Oh, come on. Higher low before meaningful lows, like something like this, and then continuing. All right. Usually this retracement, and this is something that this is what I used to do in the past and it still works. Usually that retracement, I'm looking it to be at half of the way up. But sometimes, and this is what I picked up from Alex, if you look at the meaningful low section, we could be looking at a third of a movement. So just so you know, this is what I used to do for my entry, and now this is what I do now. And I just compensate with one half of an entry here and another half of an entry there, and adjust my stop loss in here and give myself that wiggle room. I know it doesn't seem that to be that profitable at first glance, but make sure that you understand that you're trying to jump in. Where is it? First, oh, come on. Let me just, all right. Jumping up here first. Your stop loss will be here. All right. This is not bad. And I'm aiming for at least a previous high because this is a major retracement on a bull trend, right? And the spot I could be losing the dynamic reactor, that could be looking like, let me show it to you, something like that, right? Look at how we lost the trend line for a little bit, all right? Fake out from the measurement. Let me give it to you. And I never take the sweep of the lows, all right? I take the next one here. From the measurement to the top, where did we enter? We could have entered on my old target, which is half of it, right? But if I look at a third of it, look at how well I would have entered, right? So I don't want to miss on that trade. So once again, I could be entering with half of a position on the first third, all right? And if I go lower to half of a position here, I'm gonna be averaging down here, and look at how better my ratio plays out, right? So, and remember, I'm always trying to risk one full position. I can play with that one full position. Heck, I can divide it in 100 other positions, right? I can do, I don't know, 1,000, whatever you want, but as long as you're not spending more than one position. For myself, one full position equals 3% of my trading wallet. Everybody has a different threshold. I personally friendly suggest going from 3 to 5. Extreme cases up to 10%, but going 10%, you really are pushing it, man, and you are on quicksand, I'll tell you that. So this is my plan actually right now for Litecoin. I'm going to be trying to catch this long. I'm going to half of a position here. Let me repeat this so we have a clean perspective. All right. So here's my plan. First of all, I need to see what it's going to be happening here. All right. This is going to be my key frame, if we can call it like that. It's going to be the key part of the whole movement. All right. Right here, I'm going to be defining if I lose the trend, right? And I can catch it back up, or I lose it completely, right? And then I go for the possible next short. I'm still going to be entering for a long here. Remember, where are my positions? Right one in here, and the other one, why not? Let's place it right in here. All right. So having said that, I'm going to be managing two different sizes. For this, I'm going to be using USDT for immediate entries. Sorry, USDC for immediate entries and USDT for my major entries. All right. So that's going to be my plan for Litecoin and Bitcoin. Let's go talk about Bitcoin before I move on, because I mentioned that this is going to be highly dependent on Bitcoin. So what's going on with Bitcoin? We have the retracement I was talking about Friday. So I was expecting a retracement. Just so you know, I had this arrow here, and then I had this one like that. This is what I left out on Friday. I was expecting by that the end of Friday, we could have one last pump and then a retracement to support. It played out faster, but still my calculations are very close to to the possible retraction. And why is that? Because I was looking for the same, right? For the same boundaries of retractions that we had. Naturally, we have a support here. But not only we have a support there, we also have the median right here, the median of the, here we go, the median of the megaphone. This is a manual calculation. But also we have the support zones or this channel that we have been drawing all the way since somewhere around here, right? So it's natural for me to think that we could be making something like a cricket head and shoulders. Even look at that, we have the bottom of here. Let's get rid of this. And then dynamic reactor coming in strong. And for some reason I messed up. Oh, come on. Release it. All right. It glitched on me, sorry. We could be breaking out, faking out, and look at that. If we do something like that, off we go. I think this is going to happen throughout this week, all right? Not this one. This one here. So next analysis, it's going to be right here. That's what I got so far,
Bearish.
Alex. A little bearish, yes. I'm a little bearish. I'm still going to, I mean, we have a bullish, bullish hidden divergence, right? Right now.
Yeah.
So we can bounce up. So this is the first movement I'm expecting, the head and shoulders, so the next shoulder. But we'll have to see how that plays out. But let me pass it over to you because you've been trading the lower time frame and you mentioned this is choppy AF, right?
Yeah, man, it's not fun trading this thing. I mean, it's all over the place. It looks like it's going to roll over. Like that's, if I was to bet, it would be down. Down would be bet. But when we look at this, like it's very, if we're on a short-term time frame, this is the 5 minute, right? So the 5 minute, we had some news this morning, but overall, this is like absolute crap in my opinion. So this is not fun trading. You have, you know, this morning, if we started our trading here, we had beautiful bull divs this morning, retest continuation. I would say that was the cleanest trade this morning. And I mean, I start my live stream around here. So, you know, you jump on a live stream, you're not looking to jump into a trade right away, which can be kind of frustrating. But right now we are getting bull divs as well, down in here with a peak seeker, I believe. So, but the trend is down, right? So anytime, you know, the bull divs can keep printing and printing and printing, and it doesn't really matter, you know, it's just a lower high that's coming in, right? It's just this lower high sequence here, so it's not something that you're necessarily confident in, right? However, that being said, right, after the weekend and everything going down, you know, you could kind of justify getting long here, right? Like it's there, right? But it's like you must be very tight with your stops. That's how I would put it, right? If you're gonna get long here, you gotta make sure that you are using good risk management. That's gonna be critical to surviving right now. For now, right? Bull divs in here. What I want to see now, obviously we're zoomed in here and prices bounced all around our open range breakout, which has been good. I mean, if you traded the orb, we talked to you guys about how to set up the orb as well. You could have sold here, bought here, sold here. Look at how well the support and resistance worked for scalping this morning. However, it's really quick. You got to be quick. You got it and fast. Now, when you zoom out a little bit, because that's what you need to do, we do have a low here that, in my opinion, needs to be taken for some nice bull divs. If we're going for like nice bull divs at a critical level, 93,400 is one of my critical levels. So if we can sweep and bounce here, that would be I would say that would be the best trade today, if we get this. And that's not to take a big, huge swing long. That's to take, you know, a long probably up to 95 would be my target if we get that. Okay, that's if we sweep, bounce, reclaim, and go. That would definitely be ideal. But as you can see, you know, we're chopping 0.5% range right now. Okay, so be patient here. When we zoom out, I do agree with OC until. So like when we zoom out, like what I would like to see is, okay, I'm not going to be completely bearish until we lose this low. Okay, that's kind of my line in the sand, right? So right now we do have a string of higher lows all the way through here. Okay. So there's no reason, in my opinion, that to say that we've changed structure on a higher term time frame. You look at this on the 4-hour, it still is significant lows, right? Still lows coming in. We were up here over the weekend. Obviously, we've bled out over the weekend. Donald Trump tweeted too and talked about Canada again and, Orange Man stuff, right? So right now, in my opinion, we are range bound and we are looking for up until we mitigate this low, okay? If we mitigate this low, if this then that, right? So if this then that, right? We come down, we mitigate the low here. Then we look for a push back and then a retracement down, just like OC's talking about, right? So we're looking for that ABC correction, whether it's to 88, which would be ideal. That would be bullish in my opinion. If we get acceptance below 88, we're in trouble. Okay, why? Right? Why are we in trouble, Alex? Well, let's take a look here, because when we zoom out again, let's go on the daily. So we have a retest of previous highs here. That's your 88. But we also have a massive range in here, right? So we have this big range, right? And if you get acceptance below this volume node right in here, which is 87.4, let's call it 87.4, you're looking to get acceptance back down to 84,000. Very simple, right? If this, then that. So if you fail to come down and you don't bounce out of here, right? And you start closing below, and then you close below this node here, you're definitely rotating back down probably to the lows of the range, right? Which is scary. This would be very detrimental to a lot of people because, people are buying this pump. People are buying this pump and they're going to be very exposed. And what if what if this is a dead cat bounce? Okay. What if you thought we were going to Valhalla? Well, sell in May and go away, right? Are we selling in May and going away? I would say this would have been the peak. If we go down right here, sell in May, right? We go to May 1st. That's a pretty good sell if this breaks down. Okay? Just bringing that to your attention. Now, the hopium side, okay? Because I like to give both sides because I don't care up or down. My hodl bags, they obviously like up, but my sell plan is late this year, November, into Q1 of 2026. That's my sell area, and that's my plan. So I have a plan. I don't care if it goes up and down all around right now, right? I will make adjustments along the way. Now, the thing is we are fighting right now. We are literally fighting to hold here, which is 93.5. Okay, you can see this line in the sand here. We have our volume node in here. So we are fighting to hold on here. Does that mean that we are going to? Not necessarily, okay? But we are fighting to hold the range, right? We rotated to the naked point of control, which was great, right? Up into here. We have also hit our macro golden pocket, okay? So you guys all know me. I like my fibs, right? So not a better fib in sight than this, right? So are we going to retrace? Well, this would be a retracement level. This would be a point of the control tap. This would be sell in May and go away. As a technical analyst, right, we try to say, hey, if this, then that. So what are we looking for? Mitigation of that low, retest, continuation down, bounce. That would be a bullish scenario, right? Because this is just continuation. You got bull divs here, you got continuation up, right? On a higher term time frame. However, if we are to hold here and start putting in some structure, higher highs, higher lows, right? I easily think we could come for that $100,000 level. They front ran my key level up here at 898. I was pretty upset about that. They never came for it. But they did take our full golden pocket here and then sweep the highs and then dump, right? So right now we just try to be prepared. I would treat this as range bound. So if we're treating this as a range, we're looking for a rotation into the range. This is kind of our range in here, right? So we have our lows of the range, our premium, our discount, if we're looking at that within this. So our discount's coming right in at that low, right in here, right? And our premium's up at the highs, obviously, but I would be treating it between the equilibrium 95 and 93. Okay, those are the two levels that I'm interested in trading this all together as one. Okay. Yeah. So looking for this to hold right now. Like I said, what I would like to see is a sweep, a bounce, and a push. That would be the best trade right now. Rotation up to the highs of the range, right? Up here to down here, right? Very simple, but effective if it works out. Now, also, my warning sign, okay? My warning sign for this is total 3 for altcoins. Total 3 looks like absolute trash in my opinion. Because we failed to make a higher high. Okay, that's the problem right now. So we have this, a lot of people are like, oh, look, it's a inverted head and shoulders, right? That'd be great if this head and shoulders was like this. But right now the head and shoulders is kind of dismal in here, right? So we need, in my opinion, for altcoins to have some strengths, we need this to hold here. We need this to be broken here. So this to push up and take that high. Okay. And for Solana, because I believe Solana is really like leading this market, as we can tell, Solana's really been, look at Sui today, right? And if Solana can hold 140, okay? If Solana can hold 140, because this is a big volume node, then we look for this to just be a bull flag or whatever and break out and go, right? But always if this, then that, right? Like Solana has a lot of liquidity to the downside too, right? So be well aware. But if Solana can hold and Bitcoin can hold, we can look for higher prices. But right now, after that full retracement, guys, you need to be aware that, this is bear div at a golden pocket, at a point of control. You're rotating down to the bottom of this range here. We have a little bit of holding power around 92. We haven't fully broken structure yet unless we mitigate those lows over here. Okay, we haven't closed below. We could sweep and bounce. Very possible. I would say as long as we don't get like an hourly candle close below here. I wouldn't 15-minute, okay, but hourly, we could come down here, close, 15-minute, then bounce in the next 45 minutes, and then go. It's very possible. But right now, it's just, this was very, I'm always cautious about the sell-off over the weekend. I'm always cautious about that. We do have a nice new CME gap above us, too, that can be taken now. Okay, so we just created a nice CME gap right in here, so we can be aware of that as a target, okay? And we'll see. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Let's see, I think, the NASDAQ is pushing today, which is a good sign as well. We have the NASDAQ pushing up a little bit, trying to go, okay? We also have the SPY, which is holding on. But we also have FOMC this week. So Jerome Powell can absolutely do whatever he wants, man. So be aware that guy is more power than most people in this planet.
Oh, that's amazing. By the way, in other news, I see that Canada just approved being tinted windows legal, right? Even the back windows, and are going to be also cutting out on 2000 cars? Man, I don't know.
Canada's retarded, bro. I don't even want to talk about it.
Sorry. Well, we just got to prove no air guns. Now air
No
guns are
air
like
guns.
real guns. Yeah, man. You can now, if you owe, well, so far this is what the law says, right? Everything above 5.5, it's military exclusive. So, if you are so dangerous, right, by having a gotcha gun, well, gotcha now. It's military exclusive. So, oh Jesus, I don't know. But yeah, and then I saw the
Crazy,
news
right?
that Canada banned rare tinted windshields. I don't know how you call that, red tinted glass. I was like, man, oh jeez, we're fighting over who's banning the worst things ever, man.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it is. Also, let me do a little bit of announcement here. Remember, Creative for My Soul? Now, he or she have changed his profile picture, and his name is Stock Scalping Samurai. So, welcome, my friend. Great name. I love it. Also, love your picture there. Hopefully, you have still having a great time here around in the community. Buck also say, hey guys, people, we're talking about Trump firing polls isn't possible through revenue. Oh yeah, because it's an independent branch of the government, right? So not there yet with Trump being able to, but he can set as much pressure. So the perspective of poll, right? I mean, on public, how you call it, public sentiment, public perspective. I don't know how's it translated. It just goes so worse that he feels the pressure to renounce, right, or to resign. So I think that's
Mm.
what he's saying or trying to do, to put out some pressure there. But yeah, what are your thoughts there, Alex?
Well, like he's not able to fire him, but like he definitely has a replacement ready for him, and Powell's on his way out. But there's so much going on with it. Jerome Powell's always been like the Democratic kind of Fed guy who's set them up. So now that Trump's in, it's like, I mean, it's all a game, right? And it's who's in whose pocket, right? And who's
Yeah,
pulling the strings. And it's such like you can just go down a hole, right? That's why whenever I'm talking trading or anything like that, it's just swim with the river, man. Like whatever's going on, just try to align yourself with that as a trader and make money that way, right? You're never, you're just going to end up getting upset or pissed off at people and things happening that it's not in your control, right? We are mere players, as they say, within a game that's we don't even know what's going on half the time. So for us, let's get our pie, let's get our piece of the pie, let's get a little sliver, let's make some money, and then be aware of all these news things going on, and then try to make money along the way, right? That's the key, in my opinion.
absolutely. I
Because
mean, yep.
even for me, like in Canada, man, like it's so easy to go like these guys are idiots. And same with you in Mexico, I'm sure, right? And
Yes,
then it's just like,
yes.
how are you? How are you throughout the day with your wife, with your kid, with everybody's like, oh, you're so negative. Well, stop watching negative stuff, right? Just live your life, try your best. It's important to be aware of it, but don't let it run everything, right? I think that's so important.
Absolutely, and I'm up there with you with like following narrative, right? So what's going on in the macro space? That's when you start looking to where to aim because narrative it's going to move the market. I mean, it is just going to move the market. We know that, and that is man. And let me pause the stream just a little second because I don't want to interfere with this, and this is a little delicate. So we're gonna be back if you're watching on YouTube. All right, resuming the recording. Mark, what is it? Narrative has so much power through the end result of the markets, right? if the narrative of a country or something is, yes, we're not doing that bad, we're doing great, we're getting better, right? Even if we're not, well, let the sentiment of the people change to a positive sentiment. Maybe they start spending a little bit more, and then like fake it until you make it, right? So there's a little bit, and I understand the narrative behind when you're in a position of power, right? Because you either completely negate or the positive facts, right, or the positive, possibilities, right, and you create fear, which in the same case creates a snowball effect to the downside, or you push the narrative. We could be backed up with some positive data, despite the majority of the data is not looking that good, but you can still pull up, right? Pull up, and maybe have that soft landing, or not even a crash at all, even not touch land at all, and keep flying, right? So that is a delicate point of view perspective, but absolutely, I will always follow narrative, having in the back of my head my plan B. And what's going to be my plan B? Change of structure, right? Shorting when I have a lower low and lower high, breaking trend lines, so on and so forth, because when something breaks, I'm going to have my stop loss ready to go to take me out of the losing trade, and then re-enter in that perspective. That's why at this point you see me a little bit bearish, if you might, right? Because right now I see things not really lining up, but the narrative is positive. So what do? I gonna be trying to long it, but at the same time, what is my worst case scenario? My worst case scenario will be a head and shoulders and break to the downside, because at that point I could get stopped at, which is losing a little bit of money, which is still fine. That's why we have a stop loss, right? And then reallocate for maybe a head switch or an entry for a short, all the way back down to support. Back at support, I do my analysis and then decide whether if I should be jumping back at a long or not, right? But absolutely, narrative, I think, should be the first thing that you consider when trading, and then market structure, of course. So other than that, I think that's what we got so far for today. Alex, you want to do the wrap up? Just let me ask you a question. How do you forecast this week? Do you think it's going to be shaky? Do you think it's going to be boring? Do you think it's going to be interesting?
For me right now, I think it's going to be a lot of emotional trading. So like, people, be aware that the market wants to build an idea, right, in your head, the narrative like we just talked about. So I think right now it's going to chop up and down just like it has today, right? And then tomorrow, we get some, or Wednesday we get the news, right? And then all bets are off. You don't know what's going to happen. So be prepared for that. So tomorrow should be a lot of the same as this, right? Chop, 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 right? Then maybe a decision of direction, but nothing until then, in my opinion. We just we want to participate, but not get wrecked. So make sure you're using good risk management, understanding your setups, and then trying to align yourself, like we said, with the way it's going to move this weekend or this week, and that's what I would be preparing for. We'll have more clarity after Wednesday.
Absolutely. So guys, thank you so much for joining today, Monday. Hopefully you have had a great weekend. We're going to be, of course, being here at the same time, 10 hour tomorrow. Hopefully you guys are also here. And as always, see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.